The film begins in the Philippines. We see that a zombie virus has spread throughout the city. Everyone is caught in its grip. People are being infected and turned into zombies. However, a man named Francis, who lives in the same city, and his family are fortunate to still be safe from the virus. In Francis's family are his wife and 2 sons. Together, they are heading to their house in the village. They believe the zombie virus has likely spread only within the city, so the village must still be safe. With this hope, they set out, thinking they can avoid becoming zombies. Francis's parents also live in the village. Upon arriving at their house, Francis goes to his father's room, only to discover that his father has died from a gunshot wound. His father had become a zombie and decided it was better to take his own life than turn into a dangerous, flesh-eating creature. Francis is deeply saddened by his father's death, lamenting how his hopes for safety were shattered. He keeps his father's gun, reasoning that weapons are essential in such a perilous situation. When Francis steps out of the room, he is horrified to see his mother standing there, covered in blood. Her body is severely injured because she, too, has turned into a zombie. She crawls toward Francis, intending to bite him and turn him into a zombie as well. Despite his sorrow, Francis knows he has no choice. With a heavy heart, he uses the gun to shoot his mother, killing her. Afterward, Francis buries both his parents to ensure their souls rest in peace. He then explains to his family that they must stay in the village. He assures them that they will be safe there. The farm will provide them with food, and the pump will supply drinking water, eliminating the need to venture outside. His family agrees with the plan. We also notice tension between Francis and his wife, Iris. They appear to be angry with each other, as though they have had a fight and are barely speaking. Later, they decide to go to the storeroom to retrieve essential supplies. Upon entering, they find the body of the caretaker, who has died. It seems the caretaker took his own life to avoid becoming a zombie. Inside the storeroom, they also discover some chickens trapped in a cage. Francis tells his eldest son to retrieve the keys from the caretaker's pocket and free the chickens. His son, however, is terrified. Noticing this, Francis advises him that this is not the time to be afraid, but rather an opportunity for training. He tells his son that if he ever encounters a zombie, he must learn to face the situation without fear and protect himself. Encouraged by his father's words, the boy cautiously approaches the caretaker's body. He tries to take the keys from the pocket but is so frightened that the corpse falls on top of him, knocking him down. The boy panics, struggling to breathe and covered in blood. He rushes to the pump to wash it off. Seeing this, Iris becomes furious. After his eldest son leaves, Iris confronts Francis, asking, "Why are you teaching him all this now? He's still a child." Francis, angered by her question, responds sharply, "A child? This is not the time to think about that. If you want to survive, you have to learn these things." Here, it becomes evident that Francis loved his eldest son more than his youngest. He seemed less attentive to his younger child. Soon, we learn why Francis cared so much about his children. Later that evening, after finishing all the work, Francis and Iris go to the basement. When Francis enters, he becomes visibly upset and scared. Memories from his childhood flood back. His father used to beat him severely for small mistakes and would lock him in the basement for an entire day. Returning to this space brings those painful memories rushing back, leaving Francis shaken. Iris tries to calm him down, urging him to control himself and not react this way. Eventually, they sit down to eat. During dinner, Francis's eldest son tells him, "My friend messaged me that he's going to a camp near the mountain with his mom and dad. It's completely safe there and many others are staying there too. I think we should go there as well." Francis, however, firmly refuses, saying, "No, we are not going anywhere. We won't even get proper food there. Look around here, we have everything we need. There's no shortage of anything, so we're staying here. That's final." Iris is displeased with Francis's decision, as she doesn't want to stay in the village. Later that night, while Francis is asleep, he starts having nightmares about his father. In the dreams, his father is beating him mercilessly. The dream jolts him awake. Disturbed by these recurring nightmares, Francis decides they must leave. The next morning, Francis tells Iris, "All right, we'll go. We'll stay at that camp because my nightmares won't let me stay here." The following day, the family sets out for the camp in their van. However, as they drive further, they encounter a barricade blocking the road, with several damaged cars scattered nearby. Iris gets out of the van to remove the barricade. Suddenly, a zombie appears and tries to attack her. Seeing this, Francis grabs his gun and shoots the zombie. Unfortunately, the sound of the gunshot attracts a horde of zombies. The family quickly retreats to the van to hide. Francis throws a bomb outside, which explodes and eliminates all the zombies. However, their van is damaged in the chaos, leaving them stranded. With no other way to escape the village, they decide to return to their home. The next morning, Francis works on repairing the broken van. However, he chooses not to inform his family, as he has decided they will stay in the village after all. He thinks, in the village, only bad dreams will bother me, not the zombies. So, no matter what happens, we will stay here. There are too many zombies outside. With this mindset, Francis works on making the house more secure. He also puts up lights, and then starts dancing with his family to help them enjoy and lighten the mood. Later, Francis's two sons begin looking at old photos, including one that shows Francis's brother. At this moment, the younger son says to his elder brother, "Brother, have you noticed something? You look exactly like Dad's brother, not like Dad." Hearing this, the elder brother is stunned as everything begins to make sense. He realizes, so this is why Dad is so upset with me. He knows I'm not his son. I'm actually his brother's son. The truth is, Francis's brother had a relationship with Iris, and that's how the elder son was born. Despite this, Francis forgave Iris and took responsibility for both children. However, since the elder son wasn't his biological child, Francis often found himself angry at him. But it wasn't out of malice or a desire to hurt him. Francis would frequently remind himself, "What am I doing? This isn't his fault. He needs a father, and I will take care of him. I will love him like my own, because he is my responsibility." This unresolved tension often caused arguments between Francis and Iris. One day, while outside, Francis is bitten by a dog. Iris takes care of him but insists, "We need to go to a doctor. What if the dog was rabid?" Francis reassures her. There was a bandage around the dog's neck, which means it was someone's pet. Pet dogs can't be rabid. Don't worry. Nothing will happen to me. Later, Francis's eldest son tells him, "Dad, I want to do something for my family so I can be useful when needed." Francis responds, "Son, you're still young. But if you think you're ready, and you think you can save your family, then tell me this. Can you take someone's life to protect us?" His son hesitates, but eventually replies, "Yes, Dad. I can take anyone's life to save my family." Hearing this, Francis challenges him, "Then shoot me, right now." His son is terrified but doesn't act. Francis deliberately intensifies the situation to scare him further, hoping to push him past his fear. At this moment, Iris and the youngest son walk in. Shocked, Iris says, "What are you making him do? He's not ready for this." Francis isn't noticing how terrified his son is. After hearing encouragement from his mother, the son finally pulls the trigger and shoots. But the sound of the gunshot attracts zombies, and they start heading their way. To save themselves, they run back to their house. However, the zombies follow them and reach the house. Just before the zombies can enter, a large car screeches to a halt nearby, burning its tires and honking loudly. The noise distracts the zombies, drawing their attention to the car. As soon as the zombies focus on the car, the driver revs the engine and drives off, luring the zombies away. This diversion saves Francis and his family. But Francis immediately recognizes the car. It belongs to his brother, the same brother who had a relationship with Iris and fathered his elder son. The next day, filled with anger, Francis goes to confront his brother. His brother, noticing his rage, tries to calm him down. "Relax, brother. I just came to check if Mom and Dad are okay," his brother explains. Francis responds furiously, "They're already dead." He then points a gun at his brother and warns, "You have no reason to be here anymore. Leave now, or I'll shoot you in the head." His brother, unfazed, says, "Hey, I didn't come here to stay. I just wanted to help." He then hands Francis a map, saying, "I've heard there's a camp near the mountains. This map shows the way. If you want to survive, head there. I'm going there myself." After saying this, he gets in his car and drives off, leaving Francis standing there. Although Francis doesn't want to rely on his brother, he hesitates as he prepares to burn the map. Thinking it might come in handy later, he decides to keep it. When Francis returns home, he reinforces the windows with sticks to prevent zombies from breaking in. Meanwhile, his younger son, while playing, ventures into the basement. Through the window, he sees an old, frail zombie outside and becomes visibly shaken. Iris comforts him, saying, "Don't worry, son. It's just an old and weak zombie. There's nothing to fear." Francis overhears this and, without hesitation, goes outside and decapitates the zombie, eliminating the potential threat. Later, as Francis prepares to take a bath, his elder son stumbles upon the map. Before the son can do anything, Francis notices him, scolds him harshly, and sends him away. From Francis's words, we can infer that his immune system seems to be weakening. That night, while everyone was eating, the elder son tells his mother, "Dad has a map." Hearing this, Iris questions Francis, "Is this true? Do you have a map or something?" Francis denies it outright, saying, "No, I don't have anything like that. He must be mistaken." Then, Francis turns to his children and says, "Do you know why your mother wants to leave this place? It's because she wants to go to my brother, the one she had an affair with. She would have left you both months ago if it weren't for the virus." Both children are shocked and turn to Iris. The elder son asks, "Mom, is this true?" Iris admits, "Yes, I wanted to go to him." Hearing this, Francis pulls out the map, burns it in front of everyone, and declares, "No one is going anywhere. We're all staying here. This is my final decision." Although Iris tries to stop him, Francis doesn't listen. He burns the entire map and then seals the main door with wooden planks, claiming zombies are roaming outside. It's safer to lock the door, so they can't get in. The elder son confronts him. "Dad, you're lying. There are no zombies outside. You just want to keep us here?" Infuriated, Francis slaps his elder son and yells, "How dare you speak to me like this? Why did you even open your mouth? You're not my child, so stay out of it." Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. It's a wounded soldier asking for help. Francis shouts, "Go away. We won't let you in." The soldier, who is not infected with the virus, pleads for assistance. The elder son, defying Francis, forcefully opens the door and brings the soldier inside. The soldier explains, "I live in the camp near the mountain, but today zombies attacked it and destroyed everything. Then a man in a car came and saved me from those zombies. He gave me the address of this house and told me to come here. He said, 'This is my brother's house. You'll be safe there.' To be honest, he was a very good man." The soldier was clearly talking about Francis's brother. He then says, "Only God knows whether he's alive or not. I managed to escape, but he was surrounded by zombies." Hearing this, Iris feels deeply saddened, thinking that Francis's brother might be gone. Despite her sorrow, she allows the soldier to stay in their home. Francis says, "You can stay here, but only in the basement. Stay away from my family." The soldier agrees. That night, the elder son goes to Iris, crying. He says, "Mom, I know I'm not Francis's real son. That's why he doesn't love me. But I love Francis and everyone else. I consider this my family. I think there must be a safe place outside, where we can live peacefully. Please, Mom, let me go out so I can protect our family. If I can do something for you all, it will mean everything to me." Iris, initially hesitant, refuses. But as the boy insists repeatedly, she eventually agrees. He then runs away from the house. The next morning, when Francis realizes his elder son is missing, he begins searching everywhere, saying, "God knows where he has gone." When Francis notices the door is open, he understands that his son has run away. This realization drives him into a frenzy. Enraged, Francis grabs a hammer and attacks the wounded soldier, killing him. Then, in his madness, he turns on Iris, striking her and knocking her unconscious. When Iris regains consciousness, she finds herself locked in the basement along with her younger son. Francis had locked them both inside, showing that he had completely lost his sanity. Soon, Iris notices the dog that had bitten Francis earlier. Francis captures the dog, kills it, and brings the meat to Iris and the younger son to eat. When Iris refuses to eat the meat, Francis grows furious and fires several shots into the air. A knife that was on the plate falls to the ground. Seizing the opportunity, Iris tries to hide the knife, hoping to use it to escape. Unfortunately, Francis notices the knife, picks it up, and keeps it with him. He locks them in the basement again and leaves. While locked in the basement, Iris comes up with a plan. She tells her younger son to scream as loudly as possible. Hearing the screams, Francis rushes to the basement. The moment he enters, Iris attacks him. She escapes the basement with her son and locks Francis inside, trapping him. Seeing this, Francis starts thinking about his father, remembering how he used to torture him. These memories fill him with fear. When Iris and her son emerge from the basement, Francis's brother arrives in terrible condition. He has turned into a zombie. He begins attacking them. To save their lives, they try to run, but the brother manages to grab Iris. Hearing his brother's voice, Francis becomes enraged. He fears his brother might turn his family into zombies. Just as his brother is about to bite Iris, Francis breaks down the basement door and rushes out. Francis attacks his brother, pulling him away from Iris. He kills his brother and, to make sure, shoots him. Meanwhile, Francis's younger son, crying, comes forward. His arm has been bitten by Francis's brother, meaning he will soon turn into a zombie. Seeing this, Francis panics, thinking, "Oh no, what has happened?" But Iris acts quickly and bravely. She cuts off her son's arm to prevent the virus from spreading and bandages the wound. She then tells Francis, "Go get the van quickly. We need to take him to the hospital." Francis immediately runs to get the van. But outside, Francis's elder son is standing with a gun. Seeing Francis covered in blood, the elder son assumes his father has completely lost his mind and has even killed their mother. In fear and confusion, he shoots Francis. When the elder son approaches Francis, he realizes what he has done. Francis, with his dying breath, touches his son's cheek and says, "My son, I always thought of you as my own. If I ever hurt you, please forgive me. Realizing his mistake, the elder son breaks down and says, Dad, forgive me. I didn't mean to. It was an accident. But Francis doesn't respond. He is already dead. The elder son is devastated, crying out in anguish. What have I done? He didn't know that Francis had gone to get the van to save his younger brother's life, and instead, he ended up killing him. Heartbroken, the elder son takes the van and drives back home, where Iris is waiting for Francis. She doesn't yet know that Francis is dead. Now, with neither Francis nor his brother to help take care of the family, all the responsibility falls on Iris. Alone, she must raise her children in a world filled with danger and a virus spreading everywhere. This poor family, though they survived, endured so much pain and loss. And with this tragic ending, the movie concludes.